Family members, let us now be intelligent and look at how we can get P.A.I.D. from the temporary, shall I say, from the rise of temporary labor in the United States. Yes, indeed, temp agencies are bursting at the seams with regards to providing labor for companies that want just temporary labor at this time. Now, family members, like I said, not something, every single thing is monetizable. And I've analyzed this situation. And I've done the homework so that you can pass the test and you can get P.A.I.D. from the rise of temporary labor. Now, in the bygone era and the associated bygone workplace of the mid-20th century America, a corporate manager in need of a temporary secretary would issue the edict, quote, "Get me a Kelly girl," end quote. Today's internet-driven economy is producing a much wider array of temporary staffing jobs, regardless of gender. And as the staffing industry booms around the globe, one company stands out as the best long-term investment play to get you, me, we, the beloved Afterwards Wall Street family P.A.I.D. It's Kelly Services, symbol K-E-L-Y-A, K-E-L-Y-A, a clever and intelligent way to actualize and monetize the rise in temporary labor. Kelly Services, as you know, is a pioneer in the field whose name is synonymous with temps. Not only does Kelly face more promising growth prospects than his peers, but his stock is undervalued as well. With a market cap of $797.4 million, Kelly provides temporary staffing for a variety of industries. Kelly has more than 7,100 full-time employees, with about 500,000 workers at any given time under his placement around the world. It was founded by someone by the name of William Russell Kelly way back in 1946. The company got its start by placing temporary clerical and secretarial workers who were inevitably female, hence the term Kelly Girl, which gained wide currency and entered modern folklore. In 1966, the company changed its name from Kelly Girl Services to Kelly Services to reflect the growing range of professions under its banner and an office culture that was evolving away from the sensibilities of TV's shall we say, stereotype of a secretary always being a female. This company is based in Troy, Michigan, and Kelly provides employees for clerical and administrative roles, information technology support, telemarketing units, instructional employees for schools, quality control inspectors, technicians for electronic assembly, maintenance workers. The list goes on and on. Encompassing almost every conceivable sector, the company also offers worker training. People are saying, take this full-time job and shut it. Temporary workers are in growing demand as companies seek labor flexibility and hedge their bets during an economic recovery that's uneven and very, very vulnerable. The trauma of the coronavirus, family members, has restructured the labor force. The labor force will never be the same again. Unemployment is declining from its elevated heights during the worst of the pandemic, but workforce participation has weakened, and many workers are embracing the gig, economy. During COVID lockdowns and quarantines, many people decided that they either hated their jobs, hated their commute, or both. And many full-time jobs are going begging. These particular conditions are manna for Kelly. Temp agencies such as Kelly are all the more appealing to employers that need to beef up during the recovery but are reluctant to make firmer hiring commitments because of the outbreak of COVID Delta. Now, according to data from the consultatory staffing industry analysis and other industry sources, the annual revenue of the global temporary staffing industry is roughly $500 billion. I said $500 billion. The U.S. is the largest market, accounting for about 27% of total worldwide revenue. Now, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the U.S. economy added 943,000 non-farm jobs in July of this year, surpassing analyst expectations of 870 jobs, signaling continuing recovery in the U.S. economy. Now, the jobs report also was positive for the U.S. temporary staffing industry as well, with 9,700 jobs added in July, and the prior 2 months upwardly revised by 16,000 jobs. Rising rates of COVID vaccinations, school openings in the fall, and the termination of enhanced unemployment benefits in September has created to generate tailwinds for the economy and the staffing industry. Now, during the course of the year, staffing companies in the United States hire more than 15 million temporary and contract employees who are then placed into jobs at other employers. That's an increase of about 50% since the end of the Great Recession in 2009. The decline of conventional full-time work has affected every demographic. The share of female temporary workers worldwide is about 42%. Now, at the same time, beloved, the gig economy is exploding. In 2020, 52 million people performed contingent work in the United States, generating $1.3 trillion of revenue. The economic logic for using these, shall we call them, free agents is inescapable, if not ruthless. It's costly to hire and fire high-quality workers. Rather than resort to layoffs of entrenched full-timers when the economy stumbles, it's more efficient to prepare ahead of time by relying on temps. But the worldwide labor market also is undergoing a structural change, whereby those temps are becoming more permanent. Typically, during recessions, there's a jump in the number of part-time jobs, and these jobs fall off as the economy recovers. This time around, however, temporary employment is remaining persistently higher despite improving economic conditions. Ordinarily, during a recovery, employers who need additional workers are confident enough to take on new full-timers. However, employers' resolve these days is bedeviled by a host of worries, including COVID, Delta, rising inflation, imminent Federal Reserve tapering, and bloody political battles in Washington up on Capitol Hill. These anxieties help explain why the unprecedented boom in temp hiring is more resilient than in previous cycles. Businesses are wising up, and businesses are increasingly regarding labor as just another variable cost that can be quickly cut when products and services are in low demand. Even value-added, highly skilled jobs are increasingly outsourced to developing nations where educated professionals are willing to work for less than their counterparts in developed nations. Admittedly, these factors are contributing to worker insecurity, but the shift to temps is unmistakable and cannot be denied. Kelly competes against a field of mostly bigger competitors, but the company stands out for its smaller size, bargain valuations, and lower operating costs, all of which give it greater room for growth. Kelly is taking advantage of the Zoom culture. Let me explain that. Another competitive advantage for Kelly is the company's specialty in the creative services sector, which is increasingly the demand of younger and more mobile people with freshly minted college degrees. In today's fiber optic connected virtual workplace, highly skilled employees insist on greater freedom of movement. Kelly has carved out a niche amongst the creative class, many of whom actually prefer temporary work that entails fewer entanglements. To be sure, information technology is the granddaddy of outsourced staffing functions, and it continues to provide Kelly with huge opportunities for growth. Because of the ready ability to reap savings and streamline operations that are digital in nature. Healthcare is another growth driver for Kelly. Government cost restrictions create an imperative for health providers to keep payroll and other overhead as low as possible. Kelly is expanding its already extensive presence in emerging markets, which have shaken off the recent decline and should provide the company with long-term tailwinds. The company is especially focusing on China and Brazil, as growing ranks of well-educated professionals in those countries seek flexible employment with large multinationals that are based in developed countries. Just this past August the 12th, Kelly Services posted second quarter 2021 earnings per share of 49 cents, beating the consensus estimate of 33 cents. This compares to EPS of 51 cents in the same quarter a year ago. The Q2 report represents an earnings surprise of 48.48%. A quarter ago, it was expected that Kelly would post EPS of 11 cents when it actually produced EPS of 12 cents, delivering a surprise of 9.09%. And over the last 4 quarters, beloved, the company has surpassed consensus EPS estimates 4 times. Nonetheless, sometimes on Wall Street, good isn't good enough, and Kelly stock has received unwarranted punishment lately. That's a buying opportunity for you, me, we, the beloved Axel Wealth family. Kelly's 12-month forward price-to-earnings ratio stands at 17.8 compared to 22.2 for the S&P 500. And Kelly's valuation is a bargain. In light of the company's growth prospects, the analyst consensus is for Kelly to post year-over-year earnings growth next year of 40.1%. The consensus 12-month target for the stock price is $29.50. Okay, and as of August the 26th, the stock hovered at $20.15, which implies it will gain nearly 47% over the coming year. Family members, Kelly Services, symbol K-E-L-Y-A, that's K-E-L-Y-A, is in a prime spot to thrive as temporary employment becomes a permanent way of life for millions of job-hungry applicants around the world. We must see now what others see eventually and take advantage of the situation and actualize and monetize it.